Hey there, guys. So today we have another Darwin's Rants, and I thought I'd get a little bit intimate, talk to you guys. So this is the Rants after I find the news of my mom just like digging into my beer and not telling me, and just like so drain pouring beers because they're no good anymore because they're sour. Like I lost at least four Cantillons. Um, so funny thing, like she mentioned that she'd share some with my cousin who now lives in Queens, so not too far from Long Island. So I'm trying to throw her on the bus, and I asked my cousin because it was Chinese New was sorry Chinese New Year is actually tomorrow, but everybody came over tonight, and my cousin was like, no, your mom like pulled them out randomly, just like, hey, you want to drink something, just So like, first off, the weird thing is like my mom is not a drinker. Like I've never seen her crack a drink. Just hey, like yeah, I've never seen her purchase alcohol in my life. Yeah, the only alcohol ever has been around is like gifted wine bottles from her patients. She's an acupuncturist, and it literally, yeah, I've never seen her purchase a single bottle of anything alcohol wise, or just like crack and drink the only reasons I've ever seen her do it is like, oh well, like, hey, you're in town, or like my brother's in town, or like, like we're having dinner with other adults. Let's crack a bottle of wine. I've never seen her solo drink anything. So it's crazy, like the fact that like she would just dig into my cellar. I was like, so weird. But anyway, that's what happened. So I tried to talk to my mom about it and like pretty much confronted her a little bit. Well, not like in an angry way. Just again, like, well, let's talk about it. So she was like, well, I was all sitting there. Like, who the hell cares? Like, it was gonna, like, who, you should have taken it if you, blah, blah, blah. She got very defensive. And for me, again, the beer was getting old. Not any, like, I really didn't need it, honestly, because, like, I've reviewed a bunch of the bottles since so I reviewed a bunch for you guys, which I will post. And then I will say I brought five bombers to the wedding that I was yesterday that I went to, and they were not prime. Like they were actually all fine, but definitely past their prime, right? So, you get a world class beer, extract 10, 20, 30% of its peak way. They were drinkable, and we shared them, and we had a good time, but they weren't great. So the fact she drank, it's like whatever. Like they weren't prime beers. Like anytime I review any of those beers, I'd be disappointed anyway, right? So, but again, the more important for me is, and I think I posted in the comments of the description of the rants that I did. It's just like I really wish it was something that like meant something. And I tried to convince my mom about this. Like I was like, listen, like, so first off, you don't know, I'm Chinese, and the Chinese are a little bit weird. Like we're not that like close. Like how about this? I don't think I've ever gotten a kiss from my mom. Like I remember like going to sleepovers and like as like a small kid, like 7, 8, 9 years old. Like good night, and then like my friend's mom would like you know, or like yeah, my friend's my mom's close friend my mom's close friend who's a mom, who my friend was her son, right? Well, they give us a kiss in the middle of at bedtime, and I was like, whoa, that's weird. There's something about Chinese people who are just not like intimately close in that like relation familial sense. Um, like I'll give my mom a hug. That's probably the closest thing I get. So we're not like, I think a lot of American American traditional, yeah, not even American, like Hispanics and whites and black families, like something about Chinese people. We're just not like like again. I don't think I've ever kissed my mom or grandma ever. It's just like not like hugs maybe, but it's just a different kind of. And well, anyway, we're not on the closest terms. She's obviously disappointed in the fact that like I went to law school, became a lawyer, and didn't do that, and obviously disappointed I moved to Florida, blah blah. But for me, the most important thing for me was like, if she wanted to crack those beers, I was hoping that she would find some passion about it, and then I could share my knowledge and passion. Right? Like, like, oh, mom, like, let me, there's few things in the world that I am amazing at talking about and have passion passionate about. That's one of them where I was like, oh, I can really connect with my mother about it. But in the end, it was both ignorance and stupidity. She didn't give a damn. Like, she didn't give a fuck. Like, like, I'm just cracking Darwin's beers. I don't really care about it, right? Like, it was that. So it's not like she was cracking them with any intention of like enjoying them. It's just like, fuck it, let's just get rid of this shit, right? So that's a shame. And it was my way, and I was disappointed that I just couldn't connect with my mom in that sense, because I feel like that would be a nice mother son moment that I could, like, but I asked her about it. She's like, I wouldn't have cared. I was like, all right, fuck it. I will say she is proud that, like, I did get advances from, like, degrees. She is Chinese, so like, getting a degree, cool, cool, cool. So, like, she does appreciate the fact that I got advanced testosterone, even though that has not really specifically gotten me anywhere too far in the beer industry. But being, Asian mom proud, like, my son has this degree. Well, I guess I both have a JD and advanced testosterone. So. But I try to tell my, like, mom an analogy. Like, yeah, you guys probably don't know this. My mom is an acupuncturist. She actually has, like, multiple books written. She still works as an acupuncturist. She goes to conferences. She just goes to conferences, all stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know how important she is in the world of acupuncturist, but she seemed pretty important. Like, she'd go to conferences, and she'd written like 2 books at least and sell them at her clinic, and, like, so she's a pretty big deal, at least from what my understanding is of acupuncturist. And I asked my mom, like, listen, if I just, like, randomly got into acupuncture and didn't tell you, like, wouldn't that be weird? Like, right? Like, I feel that's my analogy. Like her entire career, since she moved to America before I was born. So, bro, she's been doing it for like 40, 50 years now. Um, like, wouldn't it be weird if I was doing acupuncture, or, like, taking acupuncture, or if I, like, started doing acupuncture for some reason? Like, wouldn't it be weird if I didn't tell you about that? Like, that's my, like, ish about this. Like, you were drinking these awesome specialty beers that I could, like, connect with you about. Like, have, again, I do not have any mother son moments with my mom. Like, I didn't play sports. She didn't give a fuck about me playing Magic. Didn't really give a fuck about me drinking beers and reviewing beers and doing this stuff. Like, so, like, to connect of her drinking out of my cellar is like, oh, this is a culmination of my career and my. And she's like, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So that's really, like, what I'm more pissed about. Like, the beer went away. It was not in this prime moment, but to at least, like, you could have just at least, like, picked up the phone and went, like, hey, by the way, I opened this motherfucker and it sucked and it was sour. Should I open another one? Nope. Just kept opening them and throwing them out. Like, ugh. Um, but anyway, that's a little bit private, kind of like a close talk about my family and my relationship with my mother. And by the way, if you don't know, I was raised. She raised us as a single parent. My father left when I was around 5. So really, my grandmother's really the one that raised me, because, like, my mother busted her ass. Like, she was an acupuncturist, like, working 6 days a week, 67 hours a week, 67 hours a week. So I really did not get to see my mom in my upbringing too much, but that's why it's also really important that, like, so, like, a lot of these trips since I moved to Florida have been like, oh, well, I'm gonna stay in Brooklyn, or I'm like, it's really nice to stay at home, because, like, I get to see my grandmother. She's fucking 92, and she's really the person that raised me. So, like, my Cantonese comes from that. My knowledge of cooking Chinese food, and even just the idea of cooking and the importance of food, comes from her. You do not want to taste my mom's cooking. Holy shit. Because, again, she worked. Like, she didn't cook. She didn't have to cook. My grandmother cooked, right? So, so anyway, joking about my mom's cooking. Um, yeah, so, like, a lot of this stuff. And so it's nice to stay at home, because my grandmother, I literally have not done almost nothing, other than go to a wedding. I've been staying home, just hanging out. It's nice to see my grandmother, and just, she's 92. She's only gonna be in this world so long, and that is pretty much an influential person that raised me and my brother. So I don't have too many opportunities, to see her forever. So, yeah. Anyway, love you guys. Cheers.